Well, Hoosier farmers, rural communities, regions around the state on the radar. New Indiana Governor Mike Braun targeting them for economic development and growth. And a key figure in the plan to push Indiana business growth, Indiana's new Secretary of Commerce, David Adams. He joins me now in studio. And David, thanks for joining me.
Hey, Gary, it's great to be here.
Well, and you're 3 days officially, right?
Absolutely.
Onto the job. I want to talk about regional economic development around the state, but also the new Indiana Economic Development Corporation, if you will. A lot more responsibilities and things under that umbrella. What's it going to look like?
Well, so Governor Braun has really elevated this position as the Secretary of Commerce to be not just the traditionally, the Indiana Economic Development Corporation, but a recognition that workforce is critical to everything we do in Indiana. So now I've got responsibility for all workforce operations, tourism, the ports. I mean, if you think about it, we really have aligned commerce in a way that makes us much more effective when we're talking to new businesses, but as importantly, when we're working with existing businesses here in Indiana.
Yeah, what I mentioned in the introduction there, looking at regional economic development, that's going to be a focus, as I understand. I've heard the governor talk about it and really getting out around the state.
Absolutely. So Governor Braun always talks about the four corners, and we want to make sure that we understand that within a region, the needs of that region are actually very different from one region to another. But he's established four priorities that I'm going to carry out over the next 4 years. One, we have an incumbent workforce of 3.4 million people, and we clearly have more demand for jobs than we have supply. So we're going to work with employers to figure out how to upskill and reskill incumbent workers to meet their most high demand, high value jobs. So today in Indiana, if you acquire a piece of equipment that increases the productivity, we provide you a tax credit. We're going to do the same thing with human capital. The recognition that the workforce is the most important thing. Number two, we want to expand when we think about commerce, not just of bringing new businesses to Indiana, but on a regional basis, how do we take care and really work with existing employers to focus on what their needs are? And part of that's going to be, how do we work with those employers to understand who else would they like to see in Indiana? So we're really going to start thinking about this strategically to proactively think about what businesses do we want here and why, and tell our why Indiana story. The third piece is, as you know, Governor Braun and First Lady have been very successful in Main Street, Indiana. So we're going to set up an office around entrepreneurship and innovation, but not just focus on VC-backed businesses, but focus on everyday companies, whether it's you're looking to buy an existing business or you're looking to expand into existing or into new businesses. We want to be able to help support that in a meaningful way. And the last thing, we've been so fortunate over the last few years to have 3 tech hubs that have been awarded to Indiana on a federal basis. The Microelectronics Hub, the Hydrogen Hub, and the Heartland Bioworks Hub. We're going to bring those to life. And that's going to help us attract and retain the college graduates here in Indiana. So we're going to canvass all the workforce needs and business needs here in Indiana through this new architected commerce.
You talk about innovation and entrepreneurship. You have background in that, setting up an innovation ecosystem at the University of Cincinnati, in Cincinnati. What's key? What will be key in your view from an innovation and entrepreneurship standpoint?
So a couple things. So one is we recognize that today when we talk to businesses, the number one issue they have is workforce. So how do we connect the economic engines, our higher ed institutions, K through 12, how do we connect these workforces more closely with the businesses that need that? The second piece of this is when you think about universities, how do we commercialize that technology and actually start businesses around it? So what we want to do is start to think about this thematically. Here in Indianapolis, we know we have the largest medicine company in the world. We have the largest independent animal health company in the world. And we also have this ag company called Corteva. How do we start to build an ecosystem specific around that, which may be different than when we go to Fort Wayne and talk about what their needs are?
Lots more we can talk about. Sorry, I've run out of time here. David Adams, Indiana's new Secretary of Commerce. Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. Good to be with you.
All right.
Thank you.